Let's go, bub. Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut!
Yeah.
I think the situation with Peg would have gone completely different.
Yeah. Subtle nuances that would have been different.
All right.
It would have been a sitcom either.
The weirdest mashup.
Yeah.
I must have missed something.
Yeah, exactly.
while
Oh,
we
yeah,
were
you did.
transitioning. Okay.
Well, they were talking about Ted Bundy, and then
That I
Brittany
knew.
said, and then Brittany said something about Al Bundy, and I said, "Oh," and so I said, "There's a subtle difference between re and."
Yeah. Because the guy with his hand down his pants is actually a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, is he really?
He is, actually.
Yeah.
There's a meme floating around that shows
Wow.
Keanu Reeves and some other well-known actor they're like white and blue belts or something like that in jiu-jitsu, but they're known action stars. And then you've got Al Bundy like in the picture next to him with his hand down his pants, right? And he's in the the gi and everything. He's got his black belt on.
Ed O'Neill is kind of a
Nice.
semi-awesome dude, depending on who you talk to.
Yep. Okay, so let's get back to game because boy, we've got a lot of stuff going on tonight, I should say. Does somebody want to give us a recap?
Well, it sucked for me. Well, actually, I got sucked into a
Yeah.
vacuum,
It literally
Literally.
sucked for you.
Sucked
And then-
and sucked
and then
sampled.
everything went down the drain. Oh wait, that was me too.
Yep.
I have a very succinct way of putting it, although it's very reductive. Captured Nazis. Grandpa showed up to save the day.
Yeah.
And then war.
And then war. Yep. As Bearded Blade put it, I think it was Jason Momoa, and I think you are right. Yes. I think that was Jason Momoa. I just remembered it was like two people that were pretty well known for their action stuff, and they were like really low ranking belts. And then you just got, Ed O'Neill kind of, camping out off to the side with his, rocking his black belt and just kind of with his hand down his pants. So, but yeah, that is pretty much where we're at and where we left it off. You guys were actually on board the Königsberg, the super carrier that is currently sitting in the Bay of Buenos Aires.
Which is Argentina, not Brazil.
Right.
Oh, you know what?
There you go.
I will give you specifically an additional 10 karma for that because I know that is very difficult for you to remember.
I'll take it. Do we do experience? We need to do experience this week.
We do.
Oh yeah.
So it is actually Christmas. So no reason to roll. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys 1,000.
Wow. Thank you.
Sweet. Hooray.
Going in the bank.
1,000 karma right off the bat.
All right.
Bink, bink, bink.
Mine is also in the bank right now.
With that said, would it make sense, since I'm only 500 points away from increasing one of my powers, would I be able to do that?
What power?
Resistance to physical attack.
Move you.
No, because that would require you to upgrade, and it hasn't even been a day yet since our last game.
Okay. All right. Then I'll.
So you would need the tools to
I'll
make that
bank.
happen.
Right. Okay. So I gotta wait till I get back. I'll still bank 500. That way I've got it ready when I'm.
Sure, that'll work.
Base.
So where we're at, you guys are currently standing on the deck of the Königsberg as the ultimatum has been issued to the world at this point. And a dog bays quietly in the background, just off the bay,
Right.
trying
Since
to defend the city of Buenos
didn't-
Aires.
Because I didn't realize I was still muted. I had my mic muted. Can I go to GD10 from my TY6 strength?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Okay.
No need to get,
Oh no, I'm still off. Okay, never mind.
I'm swole
Never
now.
words are escaping me.
Well,
I'm good with
okay.
the scroll. I need to get more agile.
Well, that gives me an additional
That's fair,
4
actually.
health too.
Yes, it does. Every point counts.
Yes, it does. If
Uh,
it wasn't for my endurance, I would be horrible.
Yep. So at this point, you got an officer, a naval officer approaches you as you guys are just sitting on deck at this point. You guys have just gotten back, and he politely comes up, walks up to you, and I mean he looks, for all intents and purposes, human. However, he has pointed ears, and his eyes actually kind of come into like cat's eyes. Which
Can we tell what rank he is?
yeah, he's a lieutenant.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why I point that out is that's something you guys have been noticing. There are obviously no one on board this ship that doesn't have some sort of earmarking that would probably make them a deviant of some kind, even if it's minor.
So everyone's obviously not human.
Correct. From what you have denoted so far. But he approaches and he says, if all of you would follow me, our commander-in-chief would like to see you in the ready room.
Of course. Oh, and by the way, Drum, since we all got injured last game, do we still have those injuries, or have we had time to heal or
You
repair?
currently have all those injuries.
Okay.
So he walks with you through, off the deck and below deck, taking an elevator that takes you down, a level, and then he walks you through the internals of the ship. People, you're running around, getting ready and in position, and the whole ship is currently on alert. And for those of you viewing, there are some pictures scrolling back and forth in the middle of the chat. The one that looks like the aircraft carrier is the Königsberg. That is the one that our heroes currently find themselves on. And as you as you are brought into the ready room, it has the door itself. Again, if you've seen any, even if you haven't been on a naval vessel, if you've seen any movie of what the internals of a naval vessel would look like, it's not built for room. It's built for efficiency. So every hallway comes to a junction at some point with a door that you can slam shut to seal off effectively in case there's flooding of any kind. The corridors tend to be a little cramped, but this particular door has the flag of New Prussia emblazoned on it, and on the inside, it's actually very nice. It has a long wooden table. There's some, there's obviously a little bit of decor in here, but not much. There are chairs that surround the table, enough for up to 10 people. There is a fountain machine off to the side with a couple of different soda flavors, all name brand. What's that?
Totally
Tab.
on that. Yep.
Crystal Pepsi.
Actually,
Jeez.
during this era, that's probably appropriate. So yes, you could say that there was Crystal Pepsi there if you so chose it.
Dr. Pepper.
There's also, and there's a coffee maker right next to it, as well as a spigot on the soda machine strictly for water if that's what you desire as well. And then there's a shelf with several mugs, which has kind of like an elastic strap across so that way the mugs stay in place. All you have to do is pull the elastic strap down a little bit and take the mug. But they're all duplicates. Basically, it just says this it's the Königsberg, and it's got the symbol of New Prussia on it. But they're the nice thicker coffee mugs, not the not your typical smaller ones, so they can probably hold like a cup and a half, or I should say not a cup, but like cup and a half, maybe two, if you were to pour coffee or tea or soda for that matter. And at that point, no one is in there outside of the lieutenant, and he's just kind of waiting. He says, "You can all take a seat if you would like. I'm not going to impose anything on you. There's obviously refreshments off to the side, should anybody be thirsty. Before our commander-in-chief gets here, he has requested that if any of you need accommodations, let us know now. We can try and set something up for you. That way you have some place to rest."
We have sustained injuries recently and would need healing repairs. Would there be any medical assistance available?
Of course. Then I will let our medics know as well. And I take it then you'll be wanting accommodations. I don't want to be too forward.
For the time being, if that's available.
How long are we going to stay on board, though?
He just kind of holds up his hands. He says, "I figured I would allow you all to discuss that while you're waiting for the commander-in-chief. But I'm sure he'll be here in just a moment. I will step out and make sure our medics are on hand, so that way they can see to any wounds that you might have, or per your physiology, I guess maybe the machinist."
That would be excellent. Thank you.
So with
Are
that,
y'all hearing doggos in the background?
what's that?
Were y'all hearing doggos barking?
Nope.
Very, very faintly at one point, but
Notice.
not typically. No.
He will actually remain standing. He's not at. He's standing more like this.
Mhm.
But he's not sitting down.
That's fine. I will let you discuss this here real quick. Take it in character. I'll be right back. One sec.
Well, here we are.
Indeed. It's good to have you back, Xenofreeze. I know we didn't have time to say welcome back from your mission, but I'm glad you're safe.
Yes.
As am I. They did gain a sample from me.
I'm
and
sorry that we
I-
couldn't get it back.
And they confiscated my suit as well as my communicator. I believe we need to let Mainframe know to disband that one, at least temporarily.
If at all possible, unless it can be used to track your gear and therefore at least some of the Hydric individuals.
That's a good idea.
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah, because we can't use a communicator until
For-
that's taken care of because they'll hear everything we say.
No, we can. It can be isolated with. We have isolated communication with one another within the communicators. Am I incorrect in saying that?
And keep in mind, Sagan is with you here as well.
We should be able to use Mainframe as a hub for communication if need be to isolate your communicator.
I forget. Did I ask Sagan to get them on the line? I forgot if I asked that or if it was happenstance.
To get who on the line?
To reach out to her boss.
I don't remember what exactly it was you're talking
Or
about.
for her to reach out to her.
To reach out to her boss or our boss?
Her boss.
For what specifically?
Just to let him know what was going on because I don't remember. So my paranoid mind is saying I don't want to ask someone to do something. And
I do recall you asking that of her. Yes.
Because remember, we brought a couple of POWs too.
Yes.
Thank you, Sagan. But he's still standing up, arms crossed, looking like he's about ready to strike like a viper.
How we interact with Jurgen is going to be critical here. We've met with him before, and we at least have a general idea of his personality and
I'm
how he'll
keeping my mouth
respond to
shut
things.
for now.
Frankly, understandable. Frankly, it's unlikely that anything that most of us here would say would dissuade him from the activities he's clearly going to undertake. The invasion of Argentina. That needs to be stopped if at all possible. If it begins, the ramifications could begin World War III.
We can worry about Argentina here in a few minutes if we can negotiate us being safe first. Because right now we're a bunch of mice in a maze.
Our lives are negligent compared to the lives of all of those of Argentina. Completely. I hate to say that because I wish to stay alive as long as possible myself. But if it came down to us versus them dying, I would gladly lay down my life.
And if we can't get off the ship and he still declares war, they still die.
I don't think we're in any danger here.
No.
Now, that is unlikely. The problem is the ability to see what he's going to do or how he's going to react, which is why I will suggest that the individual who should be talking to him primarily would be Lightbringer, for what I hope would be obvious reasons.
I'm not great with politics, though.
But I think
also
at this point, I don't see it as a matter of politics.
I think you're the only one that can get to him.
We can also put through to him because he is quite biased against those who are against deviants. And the populace was not primarily against them. They were forced into a forced prejudice almost to report anything for fear of their own safety from the Nazis. The Nazis are the ones that were primarily driving this prejudice and bias towards those with abilities.
So, on the other
That's
hand,
true.
do you think there's any other way that Argentina could be changed?
It is the way it is because of the Hydric organization and the remnants. If we're able to disable them in some degree,
Oh, there he
we
is.
can
Okay.
root out the corruption
Sorry.
from Argentina.
That's a lot easier said than done.
Absolutely,
Granted.
but any steps
Can
in
you
the
think of
right
another
direction
way?
are steps in the right direction.
Pause real quick. Keep in mind Dale has a kind of a bad connection, so you're going to want to give a little bit of a pause as you guys are playing so he can catch up. That way you guys aren't talking over one another. Go ahead.
But first, we need to either secure positive place to stay with a guarantee of our lives, or he kind of glances at Sagan, or we have to find a way off this carrier.
I don't think that her grandfather is going to put her in any undue danger. So I feel confident that for right now we are okay.
Define danger. Because being locked in a cell with your power stripped away is a very safe place for you to be.
Why would we be locked in a cell with our powers deadened?
Yeah,
Why
even
do you
Sagan
think
at that
that's
point
okay?
is kind of shooting a side eye, like, okay, what, like, what are you talking about?
We are not dealing with the Nazis.
We're not.
To keep you safe, some people will take extreme measures to do that.
But we cannot condemn a crime before it has happened.
But neither should we be so foolhardy to go into this without thinking of another way in case something happens. We are not dealing with some street thug who has a gun and he's going around shooting people. We are dealing with a mastermind. He plans things out.
I believe it's far more likely he would use us as an asset rather than keep us as prisoners.
I think it would probably be anathema to him to block our powers.
He would kill us before he would do that.
I'm just saying we should not be naive.
And at that point, the door comes open.
Clearly.
Sagan jumps up, up to attention, at this point, and Jurgen comes walking through the front door.
Real quick, are you guys sitting down?
Yes.
He actually motions for everyone to stand up.
Yeah, I'll stand up.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, me too.
There's a difference between being cautious and being an asshole.
Sure.
I was never sitting down. I don't know.
But that's fine. Yeah. So, he steps in and he just, motions to, everybody be at ease. And he looks directly at Sagan and he says, "Bravo, Zulu, Lieutenant Sagan. You've done an excellent job up to this point." And she says, "Thank you, sir. For the duration, you are dismissed. If you could do me the expressed favor and ensure that no one disrupts us." And she salutes and exits to secure the door and stand right outside. And he, on one of the monitors that sits on the opposite wall, he turns on the television and turns on to newsreels. And basically, as you're watching global news, It's actually split up into 4 quarters, but you can use the volume to bring up whichever quarter that you want to focus on. And the world is reporting, obviously, what all of you already know, is that the New Prussian ships are currently in the Bay of Buenos Aires, off the coast of Argentina, and they have threatened action against the country. The update that they have as of this point is that Uruguay and Brazil have both reached out to Argentina and pledged their support should any military action be taken. Paraguay is removing themselves and remaining neutral. Chile is specifically stating that they too are remaining neutral. However, their military forces are moving to guard their borders and to assist in any refugees fleeing across. Although most of the news outlets are not reporting on this, the American news outlets you see are reporting that Chile and Argentina still currently have border or territory disputes, ranging back from before the Falkland Wars. So that there is still political tension there, which, as they've got political analysts on right now, and how that's going to play a factor on there. They've got a retired retired naval officer on another one reporting, kind of giving his opinion on what they can expect and whatnot. And Jurgen at that point, turns the TV off. He says, "I just wish to show you what the news is currently reporting." Now, from what we have been able to determine from the POWs that you have brought to us, we can confirm that there are, but let's just call it what it is, atrocities to our kind being committed by the Argentine government. And you can call it what you will. You can say it's influenced by Nazis. You can say it's somebody shadowy in the background pulling strings. But at the end of the day, it is still the Argentine government. And he pulls up basically like a screen that shows some video footage flyby, that are going over. And he says this happened roughly an hour after your confrontation at that military base. And he's showing like highlights, and you can see that people are starting to be rounded up.
That actually started before.
He says that was the lockdown that you witnessed. They're actually starting to go through and enact whatever emergency measures that they can, and they're starting to round up what we believe to be either deviants or those who are tied to deviants, perhaps pro-deviant in their mentality, and they're being rounded up into concentration camps. Now, he says, I understand that there are individuals that you're going to want to report back home. I am happy to assist with that in any measure that you might see fit. I would, however, ask what your intentions are for Argentina.
The main purpose of us being here was to determine where the remnants were and to see if the captured SPBs could be located and freed. We, of course, were actually trying to infiltrate a Hydric base as you appeared in the bay. It seems that your appearance has caused the Hydrics and the remnants in the area to actually react as they have, knowing that effectively the jig is up with your presence.
He says, actually, that is contrary. The reason why we are here is because they have managed to erect an innovation field over their entire country, which should be impossible. They have effectively put their country on lockdown, which is what prompted us to show up. That is a level of technology that that the Argentinian government should not have.
Well, that explains that.
Yeah.
And there was no way, respectively speaking, I was going to sit on my laurels while my granddaughter was here.
So out of character, the field that he's talking about is an
teleportation field.
Anti-teleportation.
Okay. Yeah. That's what you guys have discovered. It has been blocking people like Shone from doing their teleportation around.
That started as soon as we started infiltrating, right? Mm-hmm. Or like right before, while we were investigating,
right?
Or like looking for it, right?
Yeah. Shortly after the time that you guys set off the alarms.
Can you tell what the source of the field is?
We're still determining that.
How could you tell from all the way in New Prussia that was happening?
We do have our satellite access. And that amount of decaying tachyon particles in one vicinity set off alarms. Let's just say our environmental scanners made a good portion of South America look like a volcano.
And offhand, totally aside from the current situation, but something that is very near and dear to me, I do appreciate you withholding your, though influenced and though I didn't agree with the whole situation, I do appreciate you returning my ship.
Well, he motions to the chairs. He says, as I indicated, I am a man of my word. He takes a seat, back down at this point, and he says, we are currently engaging the world as of this point to see if there are humanitarian efforts that can be taken, because as I understand it, from what information Lieutenant Sagan has provided to us and what we have seen for ourselves, this is going to be massive.
Would it be wrong to make an educated guess and say you are already planning on something like this in the near future?
You would be incorrect in that educated guess.
This seems like a lot just for your granddaughter.
Were you aware of their anti-deviant activities before we started investigating here?
There were rumors, yes. There have always been rumors, which is why I laid it at the feet of the intelligence community. But there's only so much that we can directly involve ourselves with. After all, we have the Red Bear at our doorstep. And that, notwithstanding shadowy figures from what would nominally be considered freedom-loving nations of the country or of the world, committing their own atrocities, some of which you have all been privy to yourselves.
Then at this moment, what exactly are your intentions or your immediate plans for the area?
Well, part of that I was going to discuss with you, should you wish to join forces.
He looks like Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll actually say, I'm not the best person to have these types of talks with you. I think I'm a bit biased in the subject matter.
Our goals have always been to seek justice, whether it's for SPBs or those without powers. I understand, in fact, I believe all of us understand that your goals are primarily to protect SPBs, and whatever happens to the rest of humanity will happen. If we were to work together, at least for the time being, we would not engage any type of assassination or murder of any individuals. Would that be acceptable to you?
That is. Contrary to popular belief, that is not why I'm here.
It is good to hear. It would seem that the immediate goals would be to see what can be done about the innovation field, to see where it's located, and see how Argentina obtained that, and if it can be deactivated, and also to locate where the SPBs that have been kidnapped are now being held. It seems that the base where we were infiltrating didn't have them. It may have been primarily for scientific purposes. Xenofreeze was held there for a period of time, but then managed to be released. However, with what's happened recently, they then activated a self-destruct and caused the entire underground structure to collapse. So
I was released by somebody who
it was,
I would almost assume would be a mole. Somebody has infiltrated
yes, there does
the
be-
Nazis.
Were we not told
so
that
there is
there
at
was
least
a mole?
that.
Were we not told what?
Fury
About-
indicated as such.
Yeah, that there was a mole.
And that is who released me.
Who was it?
A female. That is all I know.
Hmm.
Was I able to get a good look at her?
No, unfortunately not.
I didn't think so. I heard her voice. And she was like,
you just heard the voice, and you could make out her form briefly to know that that's probably a feminine shape.
I heard her voice and was able to roughly make out a feminine figure, and that is it. And then she poured me down the drain, which was what allowed me to escape.
Clever means of escape.
For one
Yeah,
such
I've
as
had
I,
worse first dates.
it wasn't anything, nothing offensive to me, though for others it would be.
Well, we're still formulating a plan of action. I will let the rest of you discuss amongst yourselves what you would like to do and how you would like to involve yourselves with, and I will be back shortly. In the meantime, I will state that we are attempting to engage the United Kingdom to utilize the Falkland Islands as a means to hold prisoners of war.
Would you be opposed to us communicating with our people?
I would not. I was actually going to offer our systems, as it is likely more secure than any that you might have.
I'd like to see where we're keeping the prisoners.
The ones that you brought in?
Yes.
Of course. I will have Lieutenant Sagan take you there.
Thank you. And he's being like he's on the edge of wanting to say something.
Sure.
But he's trying to be respectful.
Sure. Of course. He says, if you will excuse me but a moment, may I have a word with Carmen? Alone.
He'll step outside.
Of course. Team,
Yeah.
Okay.
head outside.
Yep.
He'll ask Sagan to take him to the prisoners.
Okay, sure.
Take them to the brig.
You'll haul them. So, he, still seated at this point. He says, "I will not lie. I would appreciate your assistance in attempting to bridge the gap with the United Kingdom government."
In what way?
It is perhaps the most humane way to house these individuals and keep them out of combat's way by placing them on the Falkland Islands.
No, that makes sense, but why me? What?
Because you're not me.
Oh. I see. I suppose I could potentially do that.
I would not ask this if it was not necessary, but based on our initial reports, we are perhaps going to be flooded with refugees. And we need somewhere to keep the bodies. And if this is going to be done as expediently as I would hope it's going to be, I need some place to keep them away and not potentially be another target. Most of the vessels and aircraft within this area cannot reach the Falkland Islands, and it will be at least 2 weeks before any United Nations or United States vessels can reach here.
Okay. I still need to talk to people back home before I commit anything.
I understand.
I'd like to understand where this puts our team politically before I commit to anything.
I completely understand, and I respect whatever decision that you come up with.
Thank you.
In the meantime, my lieutenant has offered all of you a place to reside for the time being, this being the most secure location that you could quite possibly find. And I understand that your family will also need medical assistance.
We took a rough landing. Some of us recovered more easily than others.
Well, I will see to it that you have both, regardless of whatever decision that you come up with.
Appreciate that.
And so he stands and gets the door for you.
Okay, I will rejoin the group.
Okay. At that point, they just show you where they're, the brig where they're currently holding the few that you brought with you, I should say.
So because he was previously in the Navy, does this look like it has a lot of the same structure that most Navy vessels would have? Okay.
Just much larger, obviously. I mean, you've seen the pictures. This would, classify greater than a normal supercarrier. So, but yeah, I mean, layout, where you might go. Yeah.
And he just takes a look. Are the prisoners being kept under the like Geneva Convention style of prisoners?
They are located in a room with 2 bunks, and they have zip ties on their hands. But the room is basically like a converted room that sailors might normally inhabit.
Okay. There's worse prisons that you could be in.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a little tight given it's a naval vessel, but other than that, no, it's not. There's nothing like dirty or they're not being beaten or anything. That's a place where they're holding them.
Thank you, Sagan.
Of course. Now, which would you prefer? Would you prefer medical attention, or would you prefer that I show you to the quarters that are being arranged for all of you?
If it's not urgent, could we see the communications area first?
Of course.
Unless someone needs medical attention first.
I'm gonna go ahead and head over to the med bay.
I'll follow him.
Okay.
I'm full health.
Despite losing a limb.
It was more like it was more like he clipped a fingernail off that I could actually feel. It's like drawing blood.
Yeah.
No, I just took
More
your
or less.
appendix. Be honest.
Right.
How many hit points is an appendix worth?
Yeah. So then she grabs somebody to show you where to go for the med lab, in essence, to get you doctored up and worked on. And then Sagan takes you guys to the communications room where you can utilize the system to raise comms. Now, the communications room, when you get there, is way more than what you would normally expect. It's got a layout with a couple of people manning it with the headphones on to listen for traffic coming in and out. There's also screens up, which looks like they are set for anybody who might have video conferencing.
Ooh.
So they've got that set up as well. And Lieutenant
Back in the
Sagan.
day, wow, that's high tech.
Yep. So Lieutenant Sagan, looks to one of the others, and she says, "All right, well, this comms officer can help you with getting in contact with pretty much anybody that you might need. Who is it you're trying to reach?"
While I'm standing there, do I want to look and see if I happen to see anything that would be similar or be monitoring wavelengths that my family would essentially my extend or my native family would be.
Your species.
The Salants would be.
You would have to actually ask somebody about that. It's not like you could see it on a display if they were monitoring,
right?
That sort of thing.
Right. They look and see, like continually, like looking. I'm sure there's stuff that's like picking up different frequencies and it's translated or something. Mm-hmm. But if I hear of any, because we speak in, I guess the closest thing would be like whale speak,
right?
If
they suddenly started picking up on weird sounds, yeah, you would notice, but you don't see anything like that right now.
So just because I say that, would I be able to understand whales to some degree? Maybe not communicate.
We've established that. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Would they understand him back?
No.
I would venture to guess that the only thing, like I might be able to understand, like that's a loving sound or a familial sound or a hostile sound, and
exactly.
I could progress that. And
that's really all you could do.
Back, but
in a sense, it would be like you being able to communicate with a dog. Like, right. that doesn't sound good, or he's happy.
Going, right. He's happy or something, versus right.
Right. Okay, so back to the scene. Sagan asks, so who is it you're wanting to hail?
Well, Aegis, but also I'd kind of like to call Meredith, if that's okay.
Of course. She kind of looks at you like, matter of fact, like that's why we're here, ma'am. Whoever you need to reach, so she, tells the comms officer, and he says, so we're going to be raising Aegis HQ. And,
yes, please.
she says yes, and she says you look to this frequency or whatnot, this channel line, get us patched through.
I've lost Dale several minutes ago. I'm gonna pop out and come back.
Okay.
I go ahead and I talk to one of the communications officers who is not directly dealing with anybody. What capabilities do you have of receiving frequencies of the range of whoop-de-whoop?
Do you mean the extraterrestrial communications that we picked up from your vessel?
Yes.
Yes, we can communicate from those channels. Why do you ask?
Have you received any broadcasts?
Negative.
Obviously nothing directly to you, I would assume, but I'm curious if you've heard anything.
No, negative. We have not detected anything within that spectrum in quite some time.
Would you say in quite some time? Have you received it in the past?
We did when we first discovered your vessel.
Was it coming solely from my vessel then, I would assume?
No, it is coming from whoever is currently orbiting the Earth. But for more details on that, you would need to speak to President Jurgen. And at that point, the screen, comes on, and you can see that it's patched through to Mr. Danvers directly.
I'll be right back.
Sure. And he says, well, I did not expect to see some of you. Interesting. Legacy. How can I help?
Medbay?
We're on the communications right now.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I just got back.
No problem.
As you may have heard, we found ourselves in an interesting situation. How much are you aware of what's happening in Argentina?
We know what's on the news right now and what we've picked up from our agent, Agent Aguilar, that you've been able to talk to some degree, but communications have been blacked out from Argentina for the most part. So there's no phone lines going in or out.
Yes, they seem to have enacted a lockdown, including an innervation field over the entire country. And just when we were mounting a rescue on one of our members in a headquarters building, we received word about the New Prussia forces on the coast and are currently speaking to you from their ship.
Yeah, that's what the comms officer indicated, which is why it kind of alarmed me. Are all of you all right?
More or less, yes.
Okay. I have an update. Is this line secure?
I believe so.
The comms officer looks up to you and just gives a thumbs up. He says, I have been in contact with a senator from Texas who is expressed interest in operatives that we might have in that area. I did not want to spill anything as of this point because I didn't know what your status was. But I will tell you that this senator is he is against the registration bill.
Okay. Which senator is this?
His name is Senator Miles Barrett, senator from Texas.
What did he want with your operatives?
Well, as he expressed, he is trying to find a way to assist United States citizens that might currently be in Argentina as well. There may be more to it than that, but that was what he initially approached the conversation as, which I'm inclined to believe because I'm sure we have, some people there touring, as tourists.
Is there a list or anything?
I haven't received anything as of yet. Obviously, it was a feeling out conversation. I wasn't sure what your activities were as at this point, and I didn't want, like I said, I didn't want to tip my hand as of yet. Is this something that we could assist with? Then I think this would go a long ways to helping both parties. And as I understand it, while you may not be politically bent, this might be somebody you want in your hip pocket.
Definitely would be beneficial as a contact. Hyperion's here too, right?
Yes.
Okay. He hasn't said anything in a while. I'm not sure just how much movement we'll be able to have on the ground. We're in a very delicate situation right now. President Jurgen has asked us to assist in negotiations for refugees getting out of Argentina to the Falkland Islands. And from there, I'm not sure what happens next.
But isn't he pro-deviant, or is this refugees in general?
I think it's in general.
Okay.
But
I didn't expect that.
Either way, that still leaves us with a war on our doorstep.
So then what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I would like to know jurisdictionally how this works for people in our occupation.
Okay, fair enough. Well, here's what we're looking at. If I take this back to the senator, because I've been approached in this manner before. This is not the first time the United States has kind of come to my agency on the sly and tried to get something going. We would likely be quietly sanctioned to do some of the things that we might need to do, such as, obviously as a priority, making sure United States citizens are secure, as well as their allies, which I'm certain there's probably a fair share of the United Kingdom citizens here as well. We don't have any numbers as of yet.
So perhaps we make sure that they make it into the boats or whatever that goes to the refugee camp.
Right. If that's the case, I think we could probably impress upon the senator that he takes this through the right channels and make sure that the Falkland Islands are opened up. And it's interesting that President Jurgen chose that because the Falkland Islands also have an airstrip, which means not only could something be flown, people be flown in, but they could also send naval vessels there as well.
I myself wasn't privy to the conversation that you had, Lightbringer, with Jurgen while we stepped out. When he mentioned the Falkland Islands, did it seem as if
he
that
thought
was
that
his idea?
the proposition might go over better coming from us rather than from him.
Understandable. With his past and his current standing in the global stage. Was he hoping for you specifically to aid in that, or for the legacy?
Well, he told me personally, but I don't see the difference politically between myself and the team.
Understandable. With that said, it would seem that we should take this opportunity this has been afforded us. He is a rather powerful individual, obviously, in many respects. And since he's not willing to go into an all-out war immediately with Argentina, we should take this to mean that he is trying to limit wartime activities. He did seem to reference certain individuals as prisoners of war, but simply because that was due to the current activities we find ourselves in. There's bound to be battle soon. Therefore, Mr. Danvers, how quickly can we enact the ability to get in contact with the senator and or establish routes to the Falkland Islands for the refugees?
I can get him on the horn within the hour. And if you're near and if this is a place that I can reach back out, I can probably have that isolated within about the next hour or two. So then, are you
that
good to
well.
are you good for me to
here.
state that we have assets in the area? I don't want to put you into any risk.
We came here of our own accord. And we are doing this of our own accord. But also, of course, we are still contracted agents of the Aegis Foundation. I see no reason why you wouldn't be able to say that, yes, you have assets in this area.
Strictly speaking, you had assets in the area before we were here.
I that is correct, but in the intelligence community, they're obviously going to be aware in a rough estimation of what sort of transactional capability we have in the region.
I see.
Which is one of the reasons why we didn't do a whole lot of business in Argentina, which I'm certain you have already seen.
Well, I don't see us operating on the ground as bringing ourselves into more trouble than we have already been in. So perhaps it's just as well.
All right, then I will be in contact within about the next 2 hours or so with an update. Keep your heads down.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Danvers.
All right, and then the communication cuts off. All right, those of you who have gone to the med bay, As you come walking in, you see that there are a row of 6 tanks with some sort of liquid in it. And they are roughly human-sized. There is an individual who has what appears to be like tendrils for arms. Has goggles and some other equipment attached to him, and he spins in his chair and he looks as the two of you come walking in. And he says, "New patients?"
You could say that.
And he says, "Okay, well, step forward. We'll get you, down on a gurney here for you." He stands up, on his feet, and he pulls down a lamp to have a look at you. Pulls down, some goggles on his eyes, which help zoom in, a little bit. And he says, "Okay, so looks like you have some trauma to your body. What's this this burning here I see on your arm? Did you take a round or something?"
Something like that. I did get injured. We did fall out of an air, have a rough landing.
Okay, and Shone, did you take damage as well?
I think she got scrapes and bruises, but I don't remember if she actually took any major damage.
Okay.
Oh, I've got 20 hit points out of 80 left. So
yeah, so you're hurting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she only lost like 10.
Okay. He says, "All right, well, looking at what we have here, we have pretty extensive trauma here to your epidermis and your externals. I'm not seeing anything wrong on the inside." He ends up strapping like some sort of strip of tape. You remember the old school strips that you would place on your body and it would heat up and tell you roughly how hot you were?
Yeah.
Like temperatures. It looks...
Temperature strips.
Yeah, it looks something like that. And he says, "All right, well, if we can get you, if you are okay to climb in under your own power, I'm going to connect a breathing apparatus up, and we're going to dunk you in. This is probably the fastest way we can get you healed."
Is the liquid oxygenated?
It is not, no.
He'll grab the breather, he'll put it on, and he'll hop in.
Okay, so bloop, when you come in, it's like just above ice cold.
Risk.
For you, it's not a big deal. You're used to deep temperatures underwater and whatnot, but it's, as Brittany said, it's pretty brisk under normal circumstances. And at that point, with the strip in place, you can see that it starts feeding some readouts like biometrics up on a screen.
At first, he was really nervous about doing this, but these guys have already infiltrated, in his head, they've already infiltrated the U.S. government. So the experimentations done on him and the other finger children, they probably already have. So he's not worried about them taking genetic material at this point.
Okay.
Did you say the other finger children?
Yeah, the other fingers.
Okay. Just checking.
Because it's Freddy Fingers?
Yeah. You realize it's not actually their last name, right?
So how long will he be in this?
He says, if you'll give me another 5 minutes as I get the biometric readings, I'll know roughly how long it's going to take to get him back to fighting status, ma'am.
Okay. And she's going to stay. I mean, she's going to stay until he's out.
Sure.
She won't leave him in there with strangers.
No, it's
Stranger
fine.
danger.
That's fine. So as you are, waiting at this point, Sagan, comes back around to those who are here, and he says, she says, "Right, Hyperion, are you going? Forgive me for asking. Are you going to need like a machinist or how exactly do we get you repaired, or do you morph, or how does that work?"
My body form doesn't have self-regenerative capability and needs to be done manually. If you have tools, then I can use them to repair myself.
Okay, well then follow me to the machinist shop. I'll take you down there right now.
Thank you.
So she takes the three of you down to basically it's under the flight bay, so you can see that there are down here there are two of those strike craft that you saw before in various states of repair. You know, they're currently doing like checks on them and whatnot, and there's the tools and everything you might need, you know, all set up here. It's all again, it's all high tech. Not like future tech, but high tech. These are tools and equipment and metals and anything that you might need that would equal, you know, technology, past the 2010s, easy.
Like nanotechnology potentials.
No, not nanotechnology.
But the materials that could potentially become nanotechnology.
Perhaps.
I'm interested. I'm looking at stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, Hyperion goes ahead and grabs a few tools that he needs from like the wall or the bench, or whatever, and he starts
belt
seeing what he can do about
sander,
himself.
rubber mallet.
He's got all this high tech stuff here.
You know, ball peen hammer.
Yeah, he goes for the the stuff from the 1800s. He's like, yeah, I don't need anything better.
It's got like a sawzall, though. That's what he uses for jet pulling dents.
He gets the the old school Slim Jim to unlock himself from the inside. And so as you guys are standing there and Ixion is kind of looking over, the high tech tools and whatnot, and at this point Hyperion is starting to enact his self repair. You see one of the mechanics come walking over, similar to one of the other people. It's just facial differences that make them look like that they're a deviant. In this case, the person has like gray skin. It's really not much else. Otherwise, they're in like a uniform and everything. And he comes walking over. Looks like he's probably 1920. Still fresh out of school. Sort of look.
So I was thinking like the year 1920. Like, oh wow.
Yeah. No. Oh, gray for another reason. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I was thinking he's like a steampunk
an animated corpse.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so he comes walking over and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, would it be too forward if I asked to get a picture with you?"
I'm gonna look around. What, with me?
Yes, and Sagan at this point is like, ugh.
I guess so.
So she's shooting daggers, at the guy, and he pulls out like a Kodak Instamatic, like the, type thing, and he, he hands it to Sagan. He says, "Could you take the picture?" And she's just like, and like walks around to, go line up the shot.
Oh, you're getting extra push-ups tonight.
And so, he stands there and he just does like one of these, sort of numbers and smiles.
She looks very awkward.
But do you try and smile?
Awkwardly.
Okay. And then click. And so she, hands the camera back to him, and she says, "You can excuse yourself, Seaman." And he's like, sorry, ma'am. And he like scurries off real quick. And she says, "I am sorry, ma'am. The word has kind of gotten around the nation of who you are."
This is not going to be a problem, is it?
I so long as you were fine.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Dodging paparazzi on the ship.
It occurs to me, however, if we're going to see some action anytime soon, I might get myself checked out as well.
Then, if they're okay to hang out, it looks like your brother is maybe attempting to jack the tools, and your other one is repairing himself. I can take you down to the med bay as well.
Thanks. I'm only down 20 points, but
okay.
Every point counts, right?
Right. So in between that, she shows you where the med bay is at. You are nowhere near as hurt as your brother was. So he ends up putting like a patch over the affected area where you were wounded, and you can actually instinctively want to scratch yourself where that's at as you feel your body knitting.
I'm gonna poke it, see if I can figure out what it's doing.
Okay. You can feel your basically the epidermis in your skin like knitting back together.
How long have you had this technology?
Who do you ask that of?
The CMO, whatever.
Oh, so the doctor there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, we've had this is effective. I think probably within the past 2 years. It's still fairly new. Yes.
What techniques would you have used before that?
Effectively, normal bandages. He says, based upon the type of wounds that you have, as well as some medication and perhaps some salve for the pain.
Was this medical breakthrough deviant led?
Oh, most technological breakthroughs that we have are deviant led. Yes, ma'am.
Can he hear?
Of course.
In the tank?
Yeah. It's a bit jarbled, but yeah, you can hear.
He tries to say superpowered beings, but I'm guessing it's not coming out the way he wants it to.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you hear, like as you were having that conversation and deviant gets mentioned a couple times, you hear
and all that comes out of your mouth.
Yep.
Blub. Blub.
Sorry, he hates it when I use that term.
Who does, ma'am? Oh,
Mr. Woke.
He says, well, he should be out in probably about the next 30 minutes, so he should be all right here soon.
So does Shone get the magic stuff too?
For anything superficial she had, yeah. Okay. Essentially the same thing, just a patch over the area, and it helps knit. So I mean, when he takes the patch off, it's still like red, like somebody slapped you really hard. So it's obvious that something was there at one point in time, but that will eventually go away in time.
Kind of weird feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sensitive and raw, but whole.
Yeah. Wouldn't mind having some of this technology at home.
I wonder if Xenofreeze could figure out something like that.
Yeah, it'd be worth having him take a peek at it.
She says, once everybody is finally healed, and she goes to show you where your bunks are at. So basically, the way it works is Xenofreeze and Shone are in one room, and they're all like next to each other. Xenofreeze and Shone in one room, Hyperion and Angler in another room, and then Sagan and Lightbringer in the one directly across. But I mean, it's basically a little cabin. It's got, a chest of, it's got, a dresser in there. It has, one mirror with a sink. It has, two beds that, can fold in and out as needed.
Xenofreeze, you'll have to stop by the medical bay and look at the technology they're using for healing.
Oh, absolutely. That would be.
They put a patch on me and Lightbringer, and you could literally feel it like healing. I mean, my scrapes, they're gone. And he put Angler in this tank-like thing, and in 30 minutes, I mean, he was pretty banged up. He was only in there for about 30 minutes. I mean, this would be something useful if we could figure out the technology to use at home.
I would almost assume
that banged up. I hurt my arm a little bit. That's about it.
It would be something similar to an amniotic fluid.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the fluid was. He had a breathing apparatus he had to wear because it wasn't oxygenated.
And aside from nanotechnology, which we do not know of anybody who has that, even anywhere close at this point, it would perhaps be chemically or biologically based from another superhuman's abilities, perhaps someone with a healing factor.
Yeah, you want to run down there and check it out?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go do that. So that's what they're going to do.
Okay. And at that point, Sagan pops around and she says, so you have an incoming call.
I would also like a bucket, please, in my room.
Okay, I will make sure somebody brings you a bucket.
Sealy, posturpedic.
Either that or you're sleeping in the sink.
Yeah. That's right.
Shion's like, watch this trick. Bloop.
Not again.
Roto-Rooter.
Mm-hmm.
But you receive a call at this point. So.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we need to go to the comms room.
Correct. Whoever's going to go, that is.
I think we should all go.
Well, we're in the med bay.
Yeah, we're all here and
Let's
healed,
go ahead and go.
or
the others can will be fine taking a look at the fluid.
While we head over there, I'm going to fill in Freddie about the negotiation that we're in the middle of with the senator.
So long as American citizens, period, are being protected, I'm fine with all this. It's very cold, very dry.
So do you get back to the comms room at this point? Whoever is all there with you. And it's Mr. Danvers at this point. And he says, all right, so I have received a listing of United States citizens who have found themselves in Argentina, many of which seem to be in and around Buenos Aires.
So we have locations as well?
We don't have locations, but we have their names. And we do believe them to according to their itinerary, they should be in and around Buenos Aires. Many of them anyways.
So using passports and flights?
Correct. So with that being said, as assets of the Aegis Foundation, then we have been authorized by the United States government to exfil them to someplace safe. Which means it looks like we're probably going to have to work with the New Prussian forces.
Okay. Okay. I feel better about this.
Do we have at least an approximate number of citizens?
The State Department believes that there's about 600 in Argentina.
Oh. How about any news on potentially bringing them to the Falklands?
That is, for the time being, that's where we're hoping that we can get them placed. The Falkland Islands does have a small population, which they're English speaking, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem there. Obviously, that's going to be something that President Jurgen is going to need to work out with the United States State Department, which likely means he's going to need to be in touch with also the Canadian government as well as the UK proper, which is fine. That is apparently what he wanted.
What were these 600 individuals? Also deviants?
Are you there in the
Doesn't
comms
matter.
room or are you in the medical bay?
I'm in the medical bay. I just wanted to clarify that for when we get updated, so that way it doesn't have to be all repeated.
Presumably they're unspecified.
All right. That's the only reason. I'm not going to use it in character unless I'm told.
He says, so obviously we don't have a game plan as of yet. I'm still going to be working on that. My suggestion right now is to see how you can embed yourself with New Prussia at this point and the military forces there, and work with them with whatever extraction efforts they're going to be taking to get people out of the country.
What about the
Understood.
POWs, for lack of better terms, for right now, that was captured out within the base? Will we be able to get it secure storage for them?
That is not something the United States government is interested in, from my understanding. That is going to be up to the New Prussian forces there.
What about the UN, as these are clearly people who are following in the footsteps of the Third Reich?
I'm sure the UN might have something to say about that, as well as some other nations around the world. Obviously, this is all still happening very fast, and we don't have any connection with them as of yet. So my advice to you is, since we have not heard anything as of yet, perhaps either make sure that some effort to maintain these POWs and future POWs at a secure location can be humanely detained while that particular gets worked out somehow.
Yes.
Hopefully he plays ball.
Jurgen, whenever we brought the prisoners on board, promised to keep them according to the Geneva Convention. It was the first thing that I said.
Okay, then it sounds like, we've got somewhat of a deal then. That's the only advice that I can give it as of this point. Again, everything else is still in play. I'm sure the United Nations is involving themselves somehow, but right now the United States is not going to wait.
Understood. As long as it's...
Do you believe
we try to reach out to either the UN or any other government that is willing to prosecute these assholes?
Yeah, no, I understand. And we understand that there is a target of opportunity there, so we may want to ensure that, if possible, that they are secured and brought back for proper trials.
Excellent.
That's all I have to report on this. Whatever our team leader says to do, otherwise I will agree with in the temporary.
Any other questions, team?
What about our original objective of finding out what's happening to these missing SPBs?
I think we have
When
a
it
pretty
comes
good
to
idea
that-
what was going on.
Well,
Based
yes.
off of Ixion's report, what little he gave to us, they're probably capturing any SPBs that they can find, pulling their genetic material, and then proceeding to either reverse engineer how they work, or probably just trying to mind control them and put them out as a type of soldier.
Or sending them to Senya.
That too.
For slave labor.
Is that of any kind of national interest, Mr. Danvers? Do you know?
I'm certain it is. The United States has not given any indication as of yet that more than likely it's because it's outside of their borders. They're not interested. So that would be something we would have to investigate if it was within the United States borders. So my advice there is if you find something, retain it, hold on to it. We'll research it and see if there's something else we can make it apply to.
Okay.
Understood.
I'm pretty sure RICO charges could be taken from most of these people for conspiracies for the crimes that they committed.
Perhaps, but right now we're speaking in a lot of
hypotheticals.
A lot of hypotheticals of information we don't have. So let's see what we can get actual and then go from there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Danvers out.
Yes, thank you. All right. Let's first meet up with the others in the med bay and then discuss our plan of action. We will clearly need the help of Jurgen and his naval forces if we're to actually help approximately 600 U.S.
He doesn't
citizens.
look super happy.
We'll need air.
He actually looks kind of neutral right now.
How are you doing right now?
Anyone who is paying attention to him would recognize that he's at parade rest.
Can he hear? Can he hear Dale?
I can hear Dale.
Yeah, I can hear him.
I can't hear Dale.
Okay,
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, you may need to come in and out of the chat.
Oh.
Oh, I guess Dale did it.
You all can hear Dale?
Yeah.
Yes.
Give me a second. I'll exit and come back in.
Man, what is the difference with our connection this weekend?
I know, but it seems that it's been the worst.
Yeah, it looks like the system, it has to do with like bad interconnection. And Dale has consistently had a bad connection from what I can tell on our side. So it looks like that has something to do with Video Ninja and how it picks up the peer-to-peer.
Do you think that would have changed?
I don't know. I mean, they could have updated it.
Did he reconnect as well?
Down.
Not yet.
Not,
Okay.
I don't see him yet.
The system is down.
The system.
But
is
while
down.
we're waiting on Dale, I will let you guys know they're not going to let you get that close of an inspection to the medical bay.
well, at least we tried.
I mean, I'm sure there's something he can pick up on just by observing.
So I do actually have a question about that. I kind of just, because we were moving along with it, did they make him take off his clothes or did he do it with clothes on?
No, you did it with clothes on.
So there might still be some liquid left over in his clothes. Or his shoes.
You wouldn't be sloshing around the ship with all with that in you. That would have been dried and taken care of.
Okay.
While we're waiting for Dale, can you give me just a moment?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have like a dryer booth that you would walk through. Maybe.
Well, maybe there'll still be residue on the clothing.
Nah. When dealing with international affairs, let other people handle the politics stuff. Point me in a direction.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh.
Don't make me do all these negotiations.
Oh no, if he's asked to negotiate, he'll negotiate. The catch is, because of his background, he's a soldier. And he's a seaman. So first things first, in a situation like this where there is a clearly defined leader of the group, makes the decisions. He does not. He inputs, and that's it.
Okay. Yay!
There he is.
Back.
Jeez.
Can you hear him now, Justin?
I can see him and hear him now.
Okay.
Okay.
Just pulled up real quick.
Yeah, Hyperion just had to change its cognitive settings, you know.
I have my animal companion.
Good.
Dale, are you directly connected to your internet by like a cable or by Wi-Fi?
By Wi-Fi.
Okay. You may want to get some cat cable and connect it directly to your router to the your computer if you can. Obviously not right now, but I mean.
Right. Yeah.
At this very moment.
Do it. Do it now.
Okay, so at that point then, Sagan, after you guys have collected everybody together, she goes to get the commander-in-chief so you can have a briefing on what's going to happen. So she takes you guys back to the ready room, for discussion. And at this point, there's a layout. There's like a glass, or I should say, like a clear plexiglass display with marker, showing what they're going to be doing. And you actually see that there's a pretty extensive plan. They've got 3 landing zones marked in the area that they're going to essentially take over and start letting people know that this is where evacuations are going to start taking place at. What it comes down to is they're going to be taking over, as he explains it, they're going to be taking over 3 football fields, since South Americans love football. It actually makes for great landing zones for their particular vehicles. So they're going to begin alerting people on the ground that once the fighting begins, these are the locations that you can essentially go to for extraction. And they're going to start using the propeller ships that you guys saw the pictures to. Those are the VTOL transports. They're going to be running several of those back and forth to the carrier, and then back out to like the Falkland Islands and whatnot to get people clear of the fighting. What they do, however, indicate is that once this happens, in essence, the military forces are tipping their hand as to where they're going to be. So they expect that there's going to be heavy fighting in around those areas. So he's sending in 4 teams, 3 to secure the landing zones, and one general purpose team, which is going to engage the ground forces wherever it's hottest and attempt to keep the military off their backs once everything starts, in essence. What he does indicate is he's to your particular teams, he's going to give you guys options as to how you want to do this, and he's going to break it down as follows. So the two real options that you have here is to go in and attempt to find Reinhard Heydrich and exfil him out of Buenos Aires. And that would require obviously trying to find the two remaining bases that they're positive are in the area which they have not located just yet. If you go this route, obviously it means you're going to strike early at the Argentinian military as well as the Nazi forces that are on the ground, which means you're going to engage them likely before they're fully ready to take you on. Which means it's probably going to be easier to engage. However, the con to that particular strategy is that it means the New Prussian military would not have secured the landing zones or the city, which means the citizens and any deviants are going to be at greater risk for injury and death. The other option is to secure the city, secure the landing zones, and begin exfilling the refugees, which means the priority there is getting the innocents out of the city as quickly as possible, and getting them to secured areas. The con, however, means the military is getting time to secure their forces where they need them most, and it's going to make it harder to uproot them when you do find the bases, and or potentially high priority targets could possibly flee before you get the chance to respond. But he's going to leave that option up to you two, or well, I should say you two, but your group.
What do you think?
Heydrich needs to be taken care of first. Sorry, didn't mean to speak over you.
That's fine. Anyone can speak. My thoughts are, we came here to save individuals. If we go for this first option, where we focus first on engaging Heydrich and his forces, it is the highest chance of collateral damage and civilian casualties. Even if we go for the second option, where we first secure the city and then exfil the innocents and refugees, I believe that will be a superior option for limiting any type of injury to citizens and civilians. It will be more difficult for us to then locate and attack the enemy. However, again, that would minimize the actual civilian casualties.
What if he's able to get away and rebuild this all somewhere else?
We can pursue him. We can't resurrect people. We can re-find an enemy.
An enemy who's been underground for over 60 years. Or 40 years.
An enemy who was not known until recently to be alive. It is much easier to hide when you are thought to be dead.
It's easy to hide when you have hundreds of millions of acres to hide upon.
But
he was overconfident here.
At what point do we put his life over those who are innocent? It is understood that war does have casualties and does have collateral damage. However, as with all things, we have to put forth the care and protection of those who are innocent, wholly and solely innocent, before any others, even if it means him getting away. We are not here to kill. We are here to save and protect.
He has a point.
I'm not planning on killing him. I'm planning on capturing him. I'm planning on seeing bastards like him get brought to justice instead of being able to reset this up. Because all he has to do is franchise it once again, and then all of a sudden, we're not dealing with him. We're dealing with two of him. We catch one of those.
That I have been personally affronted by him and affected by him. My DNA floating around with the Nazis creates a potential for some very, very high ramifications. And I understand that more so than most, if not all. I would love personally to see him dead, though I would not be the one to perform the killing stroke. Although, personally speaking, and quite bluntly speaking, I would not be adverse to causing him some bodily harm. But my priority still stands that if it's meant to see him get away and save one innocent, I will save the innocent.
I just worry about treating the symptom and not the cause. If the cause isn't treated, then the symptoms will keep coming.
A really good example of what's happening is, who did we originally think was behind the kidnappings in Strongford? We thought it was Blackout. Blackout was working for someone else. How many other franchises of this exist? We can either
That's an impossible question to answer.
We can either cut off the head and burn the stump, or we can cut off the head and then have two more grow back in its place. Organizations like this do not remain underground. They will continue to regrow and they will become stronger.
From what I have read of
this organization,
it is not something that is likely to end with this anyway. Inevitably, there will be others. It has been a circular style throughout all of history, though some are worse than others. If we can take care of this one, though, our time of peace may come. The time of peace may come in our lifetime.
I think the larger forces being able to secure more civilians is a higher priority. If Jurgen is deploying a lot of people to do it, is it going to be more than 6 or less than 6? Since Shone can't teleport right now, teleporting in and teleporting them out would not be in our advantage. So we would have to carry them out one by one. Or in some cases, I could carry out dozens at the same time. But even then, we still have plenty that are just free to continue to pick up whoever they want to and then go right back to doing the same shit that they've been doing already.
Do they have an estimate of how many refugees they're expecting?
We have 600 Americans, and we don't know how many other countries' refugees there are.
Are any of them
It doesn't matter. Refugees are refugees.
And we don't have that information.
That being
regardless.
said, I do have a concern. I mean, I am of two minds about this because it, like you all have said, our specific mission is for the Americans. But like I've said, the refugees are a symptom. But even if we did focus on getting the innocents out, logistically, how do we find Americans and tell them where to go? How do we find them in the haystack of the city?
Not just the city, the entire country.
We can attempt to use Mainframe's communicative abilities to see if he can actually tap into any of the news broadcasts or communications that have been happening in the area to see if that gives us any clues as to U.S. citizen locations in Buenos Aires and Argentina. At the same time, I myself can generate dozens of copies and have them move throughout the area announcing in English something that the vast majority of Americans in the area will probably know, that they need to meet at a specific location or locations so that they can be released. It at least gives them the opportunity to know what needs to happen.
And how are we going to
We would then need to know.
How are we going to guarantee
Yes.
their safety to those rendezvous places?
I'm sure the Americans are not the only ones that will understand English.
I'm afraid that
We
under
will
these
be
circumstances, we
obtaining
cannot
as many refugees as possible, of course.
Sorry, Dale.
We started talking at the same time, but I'm afraid that
Yes.
we cannot guarantee the safety of anyone. Guarantee being the key word there. We will have to do our best. But it saddens me to know that inevitably, in large-scale situations such as this, there may, though I strive for naught, but there may be losses. But if we can directly affect them not happening, then I believe it is in our responsibility to do so.
So then Jurgen looks to everybody and he says, so then what have you decided?
He looks at Dale. Or sorry, Hyperion.
Yeah. We'll go with the second option. Secure the city and exfil innocents first. Afterwards, we'll then focus on Hydric and his forces.
Is there any way for us to shut down his paths of escape, like train stations or airports, buses?
The military will be attempting to thwart that as much as possible, but the priority here has been given to the refugees.
Plus, they have an underground network underneath at least this city,
If
so
he's
it
not
probably
gone
extends
already.
further.
I believe
Do not assume it's destroyed. We only know that part of it's been destroyed.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's left the country already.
Yeah.
It is possible, but if we come to the chance where we've crossed paths, so to speak, or we see an avenue to which we can alter our course because we have a direct possibility without just searching. If we were to theoretically come across the entrance to his base or find a motorcade carrying him or some other high officials, I think we should take that opportunity also. Doing what we can to mitigate any damages also outside of that. I think it would be foolish to pass it by.
Well, then I guess we start collecting
Agreed.
refugees.
So he says, then you're going to be embedded into Jackhammer team, and you will be assigned to specific hot zones as they need to be targeted. When the time is right, you will be escorted out onto the flight deck and be dropped off at your first target zone, while Raptor team, Wolf team, and Saber team go to secure the LZs.
Will Sagan be with us?
Sagan will actually be behind here.
I do have one potential, if it's possible. Do you happen to have any sort of body armor that would accommodate me? My uniform was stolen, and as it provides me some level of protection, I am quite capable of withstanding quite a bit. However, every little bit helps.
Well, then, do you mind wearing our flag? Because the only armor we can provide is a uniform.
Under the circumstances, we are your allies. Wearing your flag in these current circumstances I would not be adverse to.
Very well, then we will have one supplied to you.
Thank you. It would also, I would assume that it comes with some sort of communications device.
It does, yes.
And henceforth, as with ours, and as with most, some sort of homing beacon to be able to recover anyone who happens to be lost or captured.
That is embedded within the communications gear, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
And he says then, we begin operations within the next few hours. Get whatever rest that you might need, food or otherwise is available to you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
And Carmen, may I see you again for one moment?
Sure.
So I guess I leave.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice to hear.
So as the others leave, he says, "I did not wish to bring this up with the others. I wish to give you this offer directly. You may go with your team. I am not opposed to that, and embed yourself within Jackhammer team. However, we could use your talents within the Signet."
To do what precisely?
Signet is our way of linking the team as one mind, and also being within communications within one another. It prevents, obviously, any sort of technological mishap.
I appreciate the offer, but I would prefer to be on the ground.
Very well, then.
Thank you. And I will follow the others.
Okay.
Hyperion, is it possible that we could have Mainframe to start trying to see if he can track Exion's communicator?
Of course. Mainframe, do you read?
Mainframe is available.
Excellent. Have you been able to reestablish any contact with Ixion's communications gear?
Negative.
Do you know if the last position near our area where you were able to detect it.
I'm sorry. Specify again what it was you're asking?
Do you know where the last position was where you were able to detect his gear before you lost communication with it?
He gives you basically the explanation of the structure, the above ground structure that you guys had located near that radio tower.
Is it possible for him to like exit so they can't hear our transmissions?
Exit?
Who?
No, to exit, not exit. The communicator, like kill it so that the enemy can't hear our transmissions.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he can.
He would need to be able to actually. Okay.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he can block transmission from that communicator. Yes.
Okay.
But as he indicated, he's not picking it up.
Are you focusing primarily on Argentina?
Affirmative.
Expand the scope of your search.
Query, where to?
Surrounding countries.
This will take additional time.
Take the time that's needed.
Affirmative.
We think it may have left the country at this point. So if it's left the country, begin by searching with the largest nations nearby.
Affirmative.
If a piece of comm gear gets lost in the Atlantic, you stop searching right outside of England and you start looking deeper in the ocean.
Makes sense. As you'd mentioned before, they also possess underground tunnels. At least there was the tunnel that led between the hospital and their main base. I'm not sure of additional tunnels they may have. They may be using those as we speak. That could be preventing communication.
I was thinking more, they probably, before they erected their innovation field, they probably teleported out who they could and tried to keep it low key. So if you were to think about the prizes that they would have gotten, it would have been Ixion's genetic sample, his gear, and probably a few other genetic samples, under the assumption that that's what they did.
True. We're also still unsure of how they themselves had the teleportative technology or where that's based, as well as how they have an anti-teleportation field generator capable of filling the entire area. My guess is a
daisy chain.
As in multiple generators simultaneously.
That would be the most likely circumstance, given what we see here. By having multiple ones, you don't have to maintain such a large grid for a singular device.
That would also take an impressive amount of power.
Oh, Argentina has never misrepresented any aspect of their lives of their citizens ever.
Okay, well, with that being said, then, is your team doing anything prior to takeoff?
He uses his travel bag, his bug out bag as a pillow, and he takes a nap against the wall.
I'm going to try and do my power stunt before taking the rest because...
Okay. Go ahead.
I had to try that. 28. That's a no.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
Somehow I don't think Jurgen would like it if I just started throwing plasma around on his ship.
Probably not.
Maybe not.
Can I teleport around on his ship?
No, you cannot.
Okay, well then there's no sense in me doing mine either.
I can try mine. see if I can't do something around in an incognito area. I mean, it'll melt off fairly quick.
What was it you were trying to do?
Ice slide.
Oh yeah.
Doing the
it's
Bobby
ice slide
Drake,
thing.
doing the Bobby Drake skiing.
Yeah.
So I have to do another yellow.
Which Bobby Drake though?
Iceman.
No,
which
it's
Bobby
comic
Drake.
book, MCU, the X-Men verse.
Yeah.
The ice slide's pretty much the same except for subtle graphic details, you know. So what am I looking at? I go off of my cold generation, correct? Or
Correct.
cold shaping?
Cold
He's
shaping.
doing
Cold generation.
Yeah,
Frozone
cold
thing.
shaping.
Cold shaping.
Cold shaping, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
93. Woohoo! Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Can you roll for me next time?
It was a 97. I kid you not. That was two 90s back to back. If Jerome will let you go with that one, I'm more than happy to contribute. But that was literally a 93 backed up by a 97.
I already rolled, so
You know. So I've got my 3 yellows out of the way. All I need is 3 greens before I'm competent with it, I guess. Right?
So
So
you take a moment to rest, nap, get something to eat, whatever respective that you need. And at that point, shortly thereafter, it is go time. Everybody is brought up to the flight deck via the elevator. As you see, the air is already buzzing with additional strike craft that are flying out into the area. You can already hear. You can't make it out, but you can hear over like respective loudspeakers. It sounds like there's some measure of crowd control already going off. And as you are getting up there, there's a group of what appears to be 10 soldiers, all in the New Prussian uniform. Dress fatigues and whatnot. They're a little bit bulkier than what you would normally expect fatigues because there's armor built into them. So for the duration of this conflict, since you're wearing a New Prussian uniform, you have resistance against physical, heat, and cold at EX20.
whoa,
Wow.
Fancy.
whoa.
cool. So effectively, that's the first 20 points of damage before it affects me.
Well, if it doesn't, if it's not over EX20, it doesn't affect you.
Fine.
So
I guess that's only 10 points better than ours.
yeah.
I guess it's not that fancy.
Yeah. And it doesn't deal with energy.
Right.
Okay.
And standing on the flight deck, you guys see Blackwing. Addressing the soldiers, and he says, "All right, Jackhammer, stand front and center." And they all line up and get assembled. He says, "Don't get too cocky. We've got some celebrities joining us." Motions over to your group. And he said, and then as you do, you guys feel lightheaded temporarily. And almost as if there was a little bit of static in your ears. And then it quickly goes away. And he says, that feeling you're feeling, that's Cynet making connection. So long as you were around and you were in the vicinity, you are connected to Cynet. He says, now you stick to your training, do as we told. You're all going to make it out of here. Now remember, no one's left alone. Let's go, pansies, load up. And so they all start, loading up onto, a drop ship to take them out there. Very similar to one of the ones that's obviously going to be carting refugees around. So it's the image that you guys have got. It's the one with the two propellers on each wing.
I'm gonna elbow Chone and just point to the commander that we remember from the city.
Oh,
The guy that we saw at the pub.
oh yeah, that is him.
His uniform is obviously modified to allow for his wings.
I wonder if he remembers us.
Well, I like to think that I'm unforgettable.
So everybody loads up on.
Is it clear which dropship we're getting on?
He's actually, while everyone's loading up, for anyone who has their uniform, he's actually looking over them as they get on. He is doing visual inspections on everybody.
Okay.
On our team?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I've got my uniform on.
No, he's making it very obvious. He is looking to make sure you have everything on.
Oh.
Like, he is not being subtle about it. This is... You can tell he's not he's guy who runs around the building blowing shit up. This
is business mode.
Business, yes.
Sean's like, what are you doing? Stop. Stop. Just gonna start doing this.
So as you guys are all in the same transport, and he says, and he on the inside he says, all right. He says, our ETA inland is 15 minutes. He says, the gunships are going to start clearing away. And he says, and then the celebs are going to be dropped off. And he gives, a coordinate. He says, our particular team, we're going to be just south of their position. And we're going to be clearing the streets. We've got rumors that they're going around trying to collect deviants and citizens, rounding them up into concentration camps, and we are not going to let that happen. So you see a man out there in an Argentine uniform, or more importantly, you see anybody out there sporting a swastika, you make sure you throat punch them and they do not get up. Do you understand me? Sir, yes, sir.
Wow.
At least he didn't say kill him.
Does that mean I get to throat punch somebody?
Don't kill
anyone. Okay.
And so he walks over to your little group, and he says, "Which one of you is the leader?"
She points to Hyperion.
Here, Hyperion.
Okay. And so he slaps a folded piece of paper into your lap.
Pick it up. Take a look at
it. He says on that. He says those coordinates right there is a suspected dollhouse. We have reason to believe that prior to this conflict breaking out, that this was used to house sex slaves and otherwise illicit trade. Your job is to bring this thing down, take anything you can as in the way of intelligence. If there's anything that can tell us where these people are being carted out, any sort of clues, grab it and bring it out.
Understood.
He says also
memorize the information on the page.
Okay, and he says and also a warning. He says some of them may be deviants. We don't know how or why, but maybe they're getting their rocks off by thinking that they're the master race and doing unsightly things to our kind. Make sure that doesn't happen again.
Understood.
We want a client list or anything?
Whatever you get, bring it in, especially if it's hard copy.
Yes, sir.
And
Good
so,
to see you again.
1,000-yard stare. He's looking out the windows. He's looking around. He's in a different place at the moment.
Okay. No problem. And you guys can hear at this point, as you're getting closer to inland, you can hear explosions and you can already hear conflict starting. Gunfire.
He checks his watch again.
And ships, flying past, the streaking of air as aircraft are flying by, gunfire, explosions. It's already, it's already on at this point.
These poor people.
And so you end up, you can feel the vehicle, starting to slow down at this point, and the two side doors get thrown open. On one side, somebody pulls down what appears to be a type of heavy gun, probably very similar to an M60, attached. The other door is open for you guys to drop out. He says, "This is your stop. Let's go. Let's go."
He holds out his arms for people to grab on.
Go ahead and drop out.
Yep.
Grab on.
Yep.
Grab on.
And he jumps out the back of the back or side of the ship like he's done it 1,000 times.
Okay, so everybody holds on for dear life, and he just rockets down. Basically, you guys are dropped down on top of what appears to be some sort of like club. In the area, there's like trash and stuff, and just from the height advantage of where you guys are at, on top of this club, again, most everything is still very densely packed in this area, in the city itself. You can already see some buildings are like on fire. You can see jets, in engaging in, against other strike craft, flying around. You can hear the gunfire rippling out, echoing, around the corners of the street and whatnot. Doesn't appear to be anything going on your particular block. However, as the ship ends up picking up and taking off to the other drop point for them.
Should I cloak us?
Yeah.
Immediately.
Do I need to roll for that?
Yes, you do.
83.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think we're okay.
So at this point, you're probably hyper focused with everything going on. You've never been in this type of situation, but the last thing you want is anybody you care about coming out hurt because you couldn't hide them. So the moment you touch down, you guys are gone.
Wax on, wax off.
All right. Are we on top of a building right now?
Yes, you are.
On City Street.
Yeah, you will need to drop down to the front if you're going to access it. The only things that are up here are obviously like 2 air conditioner units.
How many stories is this building?
Just the
Okay.
one.
Oh.
All right. I'll project copies, send them inside.
Wait, is this
for initial
the building that
reconnaissance.
we're supposed to...
Yep.
Is this the house? Oh, okay. Okay.
This is the House of Ill Repute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If we were to drop down, like in the front of the building, and that, like, how long is this building, like in feet or meters or whatever? Like, if we were in 2 different units and kind of flanking the building at both sides, how far apart?
The building
would
is
we
big enough to essentially be 2 buildings. So it may have been like they knocked down a wall on the inside or something and expanded it. And across the street is like a small little strip mall.
Okay. All right. Does it seem like there'd be an easy access to the back? Like there'd be a back door?
Oh, yeah.
Or like, what does it seem like there'd be multiple entry and exit ways?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely a business. So you can tell, from the back leads to like an alley, and of course more buildings. Again, think the area you're at. If you pull up almost any region in Buenos Aires, you're just going to see buildings upon buildings upon buildings. Like it's just like cram packed, at a certain point with just buildings everywhere. That's pretty much what you're looking at. So even if there's a street, there's buildings on the other side of it. You know, it's very dense, you know, urban. Even if they're only like one story.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and generate one copy to start off. It appears next to me. Have it kind of invert, go upside down, and then he's gonna ceiling shark it first, going down in to see what he can see.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
While that's going on, he is very much keeping the same type of 360 look around up top as well.
Sure. Head on the swivel. Go ahead and give a perception or intuition check.
79.
Nice.
On remarkable. So
for me, it was and I got an 82.
Yellow.
Excellent.
Okay.
Which is yellow.
Okay, so you've got your head on the swivel. You're not seeing anything here. It doesn't look like this was like a hot zone, as far as you can tell. There's no immediate fighting here, but it does look like people have potentially fled or they're hiding, because you don't see anybody on the streets around here. You go on the inside. It's not terribly easy to see because it is kind of dark. It's a club. You can see that the house lights are on, despite the fact it's all painted, you know, black on the inside to give it, you know, that dark sort of look. You can see a couple of men. Looks like they're running around, trying to collect money and paperwork and whatnot. And it looks like they have a separate, remember, like I said, it was like two buildings that were like right on top of one another, essentially. So like the club portion is the main part where you would dance or drink or presumably hang out with the date or whatever. There is a second section of the building that's dedicated to just the frolicking side of things, the champagne room, shall we say. And in that area, as you kind of ceiling shark it around, you can tell that there is areas where people do their business, which isn't, you know, terribly big, and you know, you rent a room temporarily to do whatever it is you're going to do, and then there's an area where they keep the people, and that's almost like you could squeeze 20 people in here easy, because they're basically just given closet space to sleep in. It's super ridiculous.
Do I see like a bunch of people in there right now?
Yeah, you see about 10 people in there. They're real, you know, they're not dressed very well. They're being, you know, hounded to get up and get going. One of the guys does have a gun, you know, and he's, you know, speaking in Spanish, basically, you know, telling them that they, you know, they need to quickly get dressed and get out of here. You know, the van's going to be here any moment. Oh, and upon first notice, a few of them do appear to be deviant. Again, minor cosmetic differences. I'm not going to go into super detail every time, but if they're obvious deviant or SPB or something, I'll let you know.
Okay. So then, how many like Hydrix, you know, Hydric agents or whatever does it look like I'm seeing? It seems like there's the 10 10 refugees, whatever, but then how many
5
bad guys?
Yeah, 5 people who are apparently controlling whatever's going on.
Okay. Then I relay that to team, saying there's one area where they're keeping the citizens, approximately 10. Some are SPBs. There are 5 Hydric agents. It seems like all of them are armed minimally. Apparently, there will be vans arriving momentarily in order to take them away. We need to stop them before it happens.
Agreed. What do you want me to do?
Were all of the were all the Hydric agents like in the same general area, or are they spread throughout the building?
They're spread a bit throughout the building. They're trying to secure it as best they can, you know, grabbing like cash, paperwork, or anything that they might find of value so they can get the heck out.
I think we want the paperwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll want
We want as much
to
as we can get.
guard the doors.
Did they say which entrance that they're going to be bringing them in? The van's coming?
Did I happen to catch that, or have they said that?
No, but based on how everybody's positioned and where they keep hounding the girls to, you're probably expecting it to be in the back. Like a quick, get out the back into a van and get the heck out.
I can monitor
Or
the
their
van. I can
position,
disable
it
the
seems
van.
as if they'd go in the back.
I'll let you plan
If
this out
we
real quick.
can-
I got to use the
Excellent.
bathroom. 1 sec.
If we can get the girls to a specific place, I can cloak us all.
I can disable the van very easily.
Or
I could ice over the engine.
Maybe we want to take the van.
True. That
Perhaps.
would be one way to transport them. So we need to do
The driver.
that. Yeah.
I can do that also.
Yeah.
You have the ability to generate ice and then degenerate it at will, correct?
Yes. I'm actually out of character. I
Excellent.
know it's cold generation. I don't know if it's complete manipulation. I'd have to ask Jerome. I don't know if I can.
Just that one time when you, just out of character, I remember that one time when we were fighting cold chill, you were able to get rid of the ice on the
And we lost him
citizens.
midway.
Mhm.
It's like just
Is
that
he
kind
going to
of
come back? Oh, there he
Oh
is.
my God.
He's back.
Really?
Who?
I could manipulate the UV around the van to melt it.
I think yeah, because I was manipulating it. It was cold shaping, so I can at least just
Move it to the side.
Mhm.
Excellent. Then you'll be in the back, along with Shone.
Okay.
The rest of us will come to the front.
I could ask. So
I
Jerome,
think if we do this as a smash and grab,
Jerome,
Mhm.
go for it.
with my powers, can I dispel the ice at will?
Not as quickly as you might be thinking, but yes.
Because I have cold
it's not instantaneous.
No, yeah, it's not like, okay, I made an ice cube, poof, it's gone.
Right.
But as far as cold shaping, can I manipulate existing ice as far as that goes?
Mhm.
So that way, theoretically, if evil guy puts a block of ice over someone's head, they can't breathe, I can go and break it apart to where it's away from them. And it might just fall away in ice cubes.
Yep.
But yeah, okay.
That's exactly how that would work.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, I can manipulate the ice if necessary. So even if something happened and it went awry, I can modify what I have done quickly.
Excellent.
Okay, so where should I?
We should let them load them into the van, and then we interrupt their flow. If we're going to be using the van to get them to a drop-off zone anyways.
Okay.
Well,
and what I can do is I could isolate the prisoners through a wall of ice.
we also need to get whatever's inside. So at least two of us are going to have to stay behind, which I volunteer myself and Angler, because he can get us out of here pretty fast. And we can gather.
Would they not already? Did not Hyperion say that they were gathering documents?
They are, as we speak. Right now, all the documents are inside. If we're able to incapacitate the individuals within, we should have access to everything that they have. Vans, at least one, are on their way.
And speaking of which, since you've been keeping your head on the swivel, Angler, you see 2 vans racing down the nearby alleyway.
2 vans there. Which part of the building are they gathering documents in?
Would we not want to let them
I
collect everything because they would be gathering the most important things, and then just collect it at the vans.
If Dale, if you point out where they're gathering documents, it's in the bar portion in the office.
Hyperion, will you need to be in there to access their computer?
I will. I can't get to it remotely yet.
He walks over near the bar section, and he gets ready.
Okay.
We're on top of the building still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But his fist is cocked back like he's about to punch through the roof.
I can disable one of the drivers.
Yeah, I can shock
So it
one.
looks like
I can make us look like the drivers.
That would be handy.
The van screeched to a halt in the back.
Okay.
And as you guys are talking and deciding, you hear the doors opening up in the back, and the van doors are starting to slide open.
It's now or never, guys.
He looks at Hyperion like, call it.
Go. And yeah. Yeah, he punches. All right.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for it.
And then I start
You were
running
stronger than the
towards
roof.
Angler smash.
I've used the phrase souped up Aquaman before.
I would like
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. That's all I was saying. I'm sorry.
Oh, I would like to jump down to the ground floor by the vans.
Okay.
Same.
So Shone and Lightbringer are jumping down out back near the vans. Where is Hyperion?
Hyperion's gonna follow in through the hole that Freddy made, landing next to him.
Do I get a full superhero landing with this one too?
Yeah, you get the whole stage.
And where is Xenofreeze?
There's probably disco lights there too. It's very theatrical.
Going to the back too.
Going to the back too. Okay. All right. So, the 3 of you hop down to the back. The 2 guys, the guys in the vans, they weren't getting out. And the back door has opened. You can see one of the guards is motioning the women to, race into, one of the vans at this point. You guys, come dropping down. We're going to be going into initiative at this point, but what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna try to get one of the. I'm gonna try to get one of the guys to come out.
How are you going to try and get one of the guys to come out?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, so because this is all real time, you're paused at this point, trying to figure out what you're doing. Xenofreeze, what you doing?
I am. So I'm assuming that the people that are, or the guys that are escorting the women out have weapons.
You don't see any as of this point. I just need to know what you guys are doing. Remember, you don't have a chance to really analyze everything that's going on.
Okay. Icing their hands.
So the guys basically the guys, you're just gonna aim for
guards,
their hands.
Yeah,
and,
the guards.
ice them. Okay.
Aiming flags.
So we'll get to you in a second. Lightbringer.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast an illusion that makes it look like there's smoke coming out of the engine.
Of one of the vans or both?
Yes. Let's do both.
Okay.
No, let's just do one because that would be suspicious.
Okay.
To do both. We'll start with one.
All right. So we need to roll initiative.
And that is what?
1d10.
It's just D10.
10.
2.
10.
10.
Are you for real?
I will angle my camera down. I'm serious. Actually, it's 0-0, but
Well,
hey, I rolled.
yeah, mine is 0.
I don't care. I got these guys at least surprised that the roof fell in on them. I'm happy with that.
This is a hot dice night.
Okay,
This is awesome.
so we know what Angler's doing, dropping in for sticking the superhero landing Hyperion.
Essentially, same coming in after, so we can the superhero landing and any bad guy you can find. He's gonna charge him and deal with them.
Okay. So getting to the people who are in the back first. So you guys are acting first. Shone, you have not decided what you're going to do, so you're going to act last.
Okay.
For this round only.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and spray with your ice to try and freeze their hands. You need to make an agility check.
91. Holy crap! I don't. I swear, I swear, this is awesome.
Keep those dice.
So yeah, I succeeded.
Okay. So
yeah.
you shoot you take a shot and freeze their hand. Well, you can shoot and get the one. What is your fighting?
10.
Okay, so you can only shoot the one initially. So one of them is definitely like all of a sudden, like a big chunk of ice around his around his hands. He's like, kind of leaning forward as a big old block of ice forms. Lightbringer, what'd you get for your illusion?
Manipulate it.
27.
Okay, 27.
On Incredible.
Not quite.
Dang it!
That's okay.
Shoot.
Super close.
So you generate the illusion. So it's not like you don't do it, but you generate the illusion, but it's like a little bit more obvious than you had anticipated. It's like all of a sudden smoke, like a big plume of smoke is rising when it should have been a little bit more, like hesitant or something. So it doesn't look as real as you had hoped. Shown.
Is there any way I can get to the driver and shock him?
There are two drivers.
Well, I just need to get to
one of the driver in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, I will get to you in just a second.
Okay.
The one guy who has not fired or hasn't done anything because you were freezing the one guy, he like pulls a pistol and just like blindly fires. Let's see who.
He drops his pistol.
Now that's not good because I dropped a metal D4 and I don't want to accidentally step on that.
Oh, ouch!
Oh, no.
That is what is referred to as a caltrop.
That's a caltrop right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Lightbringer, a round is coming at you.
D6s are bad enough to step on. Holy cow!
Oh.
I have danger sense, which gives me 40 seconds of advance warning.
You do, so you realize that's happening. So go ahead and roll. You can attempt to dodge. You really
okay, and that is for is that agility?
Yes, it is.
Plus I get 1 column shift for acrobatics.
Show enough.
I got 100.
Ooh!
So
I saw that coming a mile away.
your spider sense starts tingling before you even fall off the roof. And like as you get ready to land, you're like, I'm about to be shot. And so like as soon as everything starts happening, you like do like one of these numbers and just watch the round go flying right past you. Just masterfully done. Okay, Shown.
It's a total Toby Maguire.
I'm gonna take a picture of this.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, looking back and forth.
Because it's beautiful. It may never happen again.
71.
Okay. So
and it's an amazing.
So you run up to the driver. Oh yeah, he wasn't ready for that. Okay, so you run up like around to the driver's side real quick, even though you hesitated initially when you dropped, and you're like, "Hi!" and hit him with electricity. You didn't state how forceful you're being with it. So what's your electricity?
Just to knock him out.
Well, you didn't state it.
Oh, okay.
And so what'd you roll?
71.
Ooh, and what's your power rank for that?
Amazing.
Woohoo!
I gave him a perm.
71. And that is energy. Ooh, you lucked out. It's a bullseye. Okay, so let me... Oh,
I just want to give him a perm.
So,
Yeah.
you're not used to being in combat, clearly. So you weren't thinking about it. You shocked him way more than you needed to. But what you ended up doing, your intention was to like touch his shoulder. But the way he moved, you ended up like slapping him on the temple and said, "Brack!" So you sent him to the other side. Like he rips out of his seatbelt and gets slammed up against the passenger door and just like topples out of, the passenger, just like blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, he's out, like totally out like a light. Like there's like that temporary, like, he's got a nice burn mark. You can smell some like burning hair. You guys dropped down by surprise before anybody caught on what was happening. As you stick the superhero landing, the guy who was going through the office comes running out. He's the one with the assault rifle. So you guys both, what'd you get, Angler, for initiative?
2.
Okay, so it's not you. What'd you get, Hyperion?
I also got 2.
Okay. Everybody's acting simultaneously. So he's turning and going, chug, 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 chug.
I looked awesome coming in through the roof. I'm happy.
Okay, so
he's gonna die a happy man.
Basically, at that moment, like your anger kind of subsides, and you're surprised. You're like, "Where was the camera? I stuck that superhero landing." And Hyperion you were running into what, punch or something? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, I was gonna essentially charge or punch, whatever's gonna work.
Okay. Well, it's different for either. So are you trying to charge him or are you punching him?
Oh, okay. I'll charge.
Okay, because one goes off your strength, the other one goes off your endurance.
Punch.
I can't hear him again.
Go ahead and roll your fighting. If you can't hear him again, Justin, all you have to do is drop out of the chat and come back in.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Or just refresh.
Fighting is remarkable. Rolled a 46. That gives me a green result.
Biff. That is all you needed. So you strike him, and your strength is?
Strength is incredible.
Okay.
So that is definitely a hit. So crack, you smash him, knocking him like clean out of his boots. You catch the rounds from his rifle, but the rifle doesn't do enough to get past your physical resistance abilities.
Nice.
Pew, pew.
So it's like pop, 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 pop. So you take the rounds, you feel the impact, but it doesn't do anything to you. You smack him hard enough, you send him like up against the wall, and he's out like a light.
Nice.
All right, so next round. Those of you who are in the back, the girls at this point have hit the ground prone. They're freaking out because, gunfire and people with powers.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sean's going to try to get them to get up and into the van. We're here to save you.
Remember, there's another van.
Yeah, well, I'm not close enough to him.
Okay.
I'm on it.
Yeah, going towards the other van.
Okay, well, there's still the other guy that's up.
Oh, that's right. The guy that takes shots. Yeah. Same thing.
Freezing his hands.
Yep.
Okay,
even if I have
roll.
to go full, I'm not focusing solely on his. If I have to, I'm just his whole lower body's going to be an ice cube at this point. 56 wasn't a 90. 56.
What's your agility?
10.
Woohoo!
Ooh, yeah, it is green. Yay!
Okay, so
It does it.
So you were hitting him in the legs or his hands?
His hands first.
Okay. So,
but I was saying, like, if it helped anything, I would just, if I went overboard, it was just.
So at this point, his gun is frozen in with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Shone, you're screaming to the.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the girls motivated.
Why don't you give me a popularity check real quick, even though you're technically only like a 0 here.
49.
49 on a shift 0, probably not enough. No. Okay, so they're still terrified. They're on the ground. Lightbringer.
The guy whose van I illusioned, is he like?
That was the guy who got thrown out of the vehicle violently by her electric charge.
I thought we were choosing one each.
That was the front van.
Okay, then I'll head to the back one.
Okay, because you can hear him throwing the van into gear and flooring it to try and back up out of here.
I rolled a 95 when you were talking about popularity, if that helps for anything.
Nope.
No.
Shoot. Okay. Are the girls in that other van?
No.
Oh,
they're
so
on
he's
the ground.
You interrupted the whole thing, so they're like on the ground and like kind of part in the alley, part still in the back of the club.
Do they need both vans for the girls?
Probably yes.
Okay, so then I probably shouldn't try and disable it. Shoot.
I mean, you could probably cram all 10 girls into one van, but then you guys couldn't go in.
Well, we can fly. We have
Cool
Freddy.
Imp.
Yeah, okay.
Cool Imp just gave Sean a reroll.
I'm gonna shoot the tires with my UV rays.
Okay, go ahead and roll. It's agility check. And Justin gave you a reroll, Shelly.
When is it agility and when is it psyche?
If it's projectile powers, it's always going to be agility. If it is mental powers, such as like mental blast and whatnot, it's psyche.
I guess it doesn't matter because I have the same score for both.
So then why ask?
Sorry.
So what'd you get?
82.
Oh,
Ooh.
Nice.
Your agility is what? 30?
Yes.
All right, that is bullseye. So I already know your power rank is significantly higher than rubber.
Yeah.
Also
higher than blue.
So that you end up, were you aiming for the front or back tire?
I would know that the bus is probably a front wheel drive, so I'll go with front.
Front. Okay, so it's like, he's starting to lose control. It wasn't going too fast, so it like accidentally hits up against the side of like, one of the back retaining walls or something, and he skids to a stop. Okay. So his action is to get out and try to run. Those of you who are on the inside, at this point, you've got 2 other guys running at you. You're acting at the same time as they are. So, Justin, you have successfully recovered from your superhero landing and your awe over the fact that you nailed it perfectly.
I'm maintaining this as a source of pride, just saying.
Okay. So you're not doing anything else? You're going to stand there in a superhero stance?
So whenever he came in, he knocked out one guy who came out of the office, right?
Yeah. Hyperion drilled that guy something fierce. There's 2 other guys coming from basically the back of the club, trying to take care of you guys.
Is there a table or a chair nearby?
Oh yeah, you're in the bar section. Yeah, there absolutely is. You can take your pick, chair or a stool.
Did I land near the bar itself?
No, you landed closer to the floor.
Just asking.
Sure.
With my strength, the bar is feasibly a weapon.
Sure.
He's actually going to throw the bar stool at one or two of them, depending on how close they are.
Okay, so you pick one up and lob it at them. That is a simultaneous attack, is what they're doing. So they're not really dodging.
And I'm going to spend 30 points, 30 karma on this.
Okay, well, that's an agility check. Lob it.
Wow.
$55 plus 30 is 85.
Oof.
So that's going to put it. That is going to be a yellow result.
Yep. So he ends up striking you, but of course your costume takes up the damage that he would have that you would have taken. However, you throw the stool full force as he's standing right next to you, pretty much. You connect with him with such ferocity that you send him end over end, like you just bam, completely up and over, and up against the bar, and he's just he's not unconscious, but he's completely stunned. The stool, however, goes end over end into the wall and just shatters into a bunch of different pieces. Hyperion, what were you doing? The other guy's attempting to come into you with brass knucks.
I'm just gonna charge into him, just bull rush him.
Okay. So go ahead and roll. Just don't get a white result.
Move.
So it's a fighting check.
Oh boy. Let's see. Fighting was that remarkable, and I got a 36 green, just barely green.
Barely.
Okay. So that is a hit. What is your endurance?
Let's see. Endurance is also incredible.
Okay, so wham! So you basically do what champions call is a move through action, which basically means you just keep running and run straight through something. And so you run straight through him. Just so he hits
I'm
you.
the juggernaut.
So he hits you again. I mean, he didn't know what all you have, so his brass knucks don't do anything to you. And you just run him straight over and just send him completely to the ground.
All right. Excellent. Then looking around to see if I can sense anything else happening in the area. If I can hear any other,
we are still
agents.
we're still in combat. You can still hear some commotion in the back. Those of you who are in the alley. Okay. At the top of the round, the one guy in the van who's a little bit of a distance away is actually running down the alley away from you guys. You have the other two who have frozen hands attempting to run as well, but they're trying to run past you.
Wait, there's 3 guys?
Yeah, 2 drivers and one guy that was.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And you've got a blubbering mess at the passenger side of one van.
The guy who's running, I would like to make an illusion that looks like a stream of fire kind of blocking his way, so that he'll have to turn around.
Go ahead and roll.
I'm gonna
firewall.
I'm gonna spend 30 karma.
Okay.
57. So 87 on that's a psyche.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter. 87 is.
We established it doesn't matter. It's the same score.
Yellow.
So this guy has seen things. It's clear that there are things that man was not meant to see, and fire appearing out of nowhere is definitely one of them. As he screams in Spanish and at this point is trying to hop a wall to get away from it. But yeah, he's skids to a stop before he burns himself alive. So those of you who are still at the van, you have the other two who are attempting to flee at this point, their hands frozen together.
And so are their feet.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're not
you
going
can.
anywhere.
So are you icing the ground, or are you attempting to ice one of their feet, one of their foots?
I'm gonna ice the ground for both of them. Just be like.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Yeah.
Agility check.
Just in the basket is fine. Can you leave it in the basket? Sorry. And you know what? You know what? It may end up being pointless because as hot as I am, but I'm not taking any chances right now. I'm gonna go ahead and spend 30 myself.
Okay.
As hot as you are.
You know what? I'm glad I did because I rolled
Ironically.
39. So that's 69
Okay.
on GD10. So
Nice.
So
yeah.
you ice the ground, and they
They're
start
off balance anyway.
and they start sliding, a little bit of a distance, and fall and hit their butts. Joan, what are you gonna do?
Since they're not going anywhere, there's no more bad guys, right?
Yes.
Well, there's the one. There's the one.
There are
climbing the
3.
wall.
There's one panicked because he almost ran into a sudden wall of fire. He was
Okay.
down the alleyway, and then there's 2 that just fell down because they got ice on the ground.
Okay, so the guys that got ice on the ground, they're stuck.
Oh, they're not stuck; they've slipped.
Oh, okay. Can I send an electric current through the ice?
You sure can.
Okay.
It's water.
Just enough. Just enough to knock them out.
Specify enough to knock them out.
Yeah.
You have anywhere between 1 to 50.
86.
Oh no!
How much?
No,
How much of it are you using?
40.
Oh, okay. So 40, and your power rank. Actually, your agility.
You need my agility. My agility is
100.
unearthly.
Okay, and you said 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to make endurance checks.
Oh God, I hope I don't kill him.
Okay, so
double fatality.
Joan at this point is quick to act. She's like, okay, screw this hesitancy thing, and leaps on the fact that they're getting ready to slide right past her on the ice that is just go to the ground. Slaps her hands down there, and she's like, ha ha! Their hair shoots like straight up. You immediately smell the smolders as they both collapse down to the ground.
TKO.
Immediately go over and check.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'll yell, get the runner.
Give me an intuition. So those 2 you were running to check. Give me intuition checks as you check in on both bodies. You have one more action shown as you are attempting to deal with the guy who's trying to leap up over a wall at this point.
You might
85. So.
Thing is, can I throw my electricity?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a projectile power. Absolutely.
Okay. So she's gonna try to zap the other guy too.
Okay. And how much?
And I don't want to kill him. I just want to disable him. So let's maybe use 25.
Okay.
So you're gonna tase him, bro?
Oh, thank goodness, because it's 91. Yeah, tase him.
Okay. So he does not dodge out. He doesn't even know that you're trying to do it. So basically, you treat him like a bug zapper just as he tries to get up on the wall. Pop! And he, comes flying off the wall down, back down to the ground kind of hard. And let's see if he makes his endurance check. Okay. But you did specify you were attempting to stun. So you got a red result. So that you end up seeing him go down, and he's not moving.
Okay.
I got a white result for my intuition.
Okay.
I got a yellow.
You are not certain. You have no vital signs.
I have no vital signs.
Do you know CPR?
Me?
I can shock him back to life.
Can I do CPR? I think you've done enough. Get the girls off the
Not how
bus.
that works.
Did she just accidentally electrocute somebody?
I will do CPR.
I don't know CPR. I know biology and genetics, but
Right.
that does not constitute.
I'm just
First
imagining
aid.
a liquid person attempting to do
Life-saving.
CPR and drowning them.
Yeah. I could learn to
I know.
like have a
Go
pocket
ahead and
prayer
roll, Carmen.
Is this reason?
It is medically related, yes.
Okay,
while
so
she's doing that, I'm going to start checking the other guy then.
Okay.
Are we going to finish up inside as well?
He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, so as they're dealing with everything outside, there's nothing else inside. The guy, targets are down.
sorry,
Oh
hang
man,
on.
I didn't get to go Jason Voorhees.
Okay, I got a green result for that one. It wasn't.
No vital signs on him either.
Oh my gosh.
With my first aid talent, let's see. It says the medicine talent notes the loss of, which I also have, emergency medicine. Notes the loss of endurance may be halted by someone checking on the dying character and administering some form of aid. The first aid talent grants the character an immediate halt to endurance rank loss, the recovery of 1 rank immediately, 1 use only per situation, and in addition, the hero with the talent can stabilize the dying character at shift 0 health up to 5 rounds after the character reaches the level.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, okay, 34 at monstrous is a green result.
Okay.
That's great.
So you guys hear some panic out back.
Running out back.
So the girls at this point are starting to get up and they're looking around kind of confused. And you see Carmen desperately trying to give CPR to somebody.
He needs help too.
All right. Since she's giving CPR to one, I go to the other one, and as I'm running, I say, "What happened to them?"
Electroshock therapy.
Show's just going to turn to the girls and say, "Let's get on the van. Let's get in the van."
I'm collecting the documents off of first dude.
I think they're probably gonna scream like.
Okay. Yeah, they're terrified at this point.
We're not the bad guys. I promise.
So if
is anybody attempting to help the other individual?
That's what I was just about to say. So Hyperion takes over from where I was at, and I'm going to check on him.
And you're checking on the one
third guy
down the alley?
Yes.
Okay. So Hyperion, go ahead and roll.
All right.
And I've exhausted
a
myself because unless he's obvious, I rolled an 11.
Okay.
Is this a recent check or something else?
Yes, it is a recent check.
Your dice ran out of juice.
And I'm saying, I don't get anything off of him.
53.
I don't know.
An amazing. That is a green result.
Okay. And you are CPR? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so thankfully, you guys managed to revive the other two, but they have very weak vital signs. They need medical attention like now.
As soon as they're breathing, can I go check on the third one?
You can go run and go check on them. The girls are still kind of like freaking out or whatnot. Angler, you have collected what paperwork you've seen kind of strewn about and what they already had on them.
All right. Do they have any type of handcuffs on them or
They do not.
Zip ties?
They do not.
They have belts?
They do have belts, yes.
Actually, she took the words out of my mouth. Belts and boots and bootlaces, shoestrings.
Okay.
I'm tying them up inside.
I got a green result.
Once I'm done doing that, he's going to collect the computer as well.
Okay, so you're running to grab the computer. You go run down the street where Xenofreeze was at, and yeah, he's just stunned. He's very, very stunned, but he's like super loopy. So I mean, like as soon as you start trying to check him, he's just like.
Okay.
Because not only did he get zapped, but like he fell off the wall. So
How tall was the wall? 22 feet.
No. It's like, an 8 or 9 foot wall, but I mean, it was enough. It's like slamming onto your back forcefully onto gravel. Not cool.
Knocks the wind out of you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna what's my strength? My strength is not great. I'm gonna tie his hands with his belt or shoelaces or whatever.
Okay.
Fast.
So
Belt.
you start trying to secure him as well. All right.
If Xenofreeze is there,
He is.
What's your strength?
GDT. I've been working out. It just got up to a 10.
Okay, between us, we could probably manage.
Oh yeah, if you both are.
Well, you know what? There's a fireman.
Even if you were both typical, you could easily take this guy back.
Okay.
Because Shift 0 is normal human, correct?
No.
No. That's
normal
a weak
human
hit.
is TY6.
Typical, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Yeah, typical.
Okay.
Oh, so
yeah, it should be based.
Good.
It's like
good.
based
We're like
off
we're
of
like
like a
we're like
person. That's why like remarkable is superhuman stuff.
I'm also GD10.
so GD10 is like we're strong in comparison to humans.
Yeah, above average strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
strong.
I guess we're strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll bring him back to the bus.
The van.
Or van.
Sure.
Are the
So
As
now
you're
you
bringing
only
them,
have
as
now
you're
you only
bringing
have
them
one
back,
working van, and you've got the girls here, and you've got 5 guys secured, and one guy from the van knocked out and not doing anything.
Does it have a spare tire?
I was going to say, can we put the spare tire on?
For sake of argument, we'll say yes. There's a spare tire.
Okay,
It's
that's
bald,
all we need.
but there is one.
And let me know when I'm coming out the back door with all the stuff.
You are coming out the back with all the stuff. The girls are still tripping out. They're panicked, but they're not doing anything because you guys haven't done anything to them.
Somebody speak Spanish.
Hyperion does.
I go over to them. Then, yeah, Hyperion goes over to the ladies and says in Spanish, "Ladies, we're the Legacy. We are here to help you. We've defeated your assailants. We will transport you to safety. We're going to use vans to get you there.
This is a rescue. Please do not resist."
Yeah.
Should we allow them to take the vehicle and tell them where to rendezvous?
I think it's best if we actually start to drive the vehicles ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we've got prisoners to transport.
Hyperion, give me an intuition check. And of course, they understand you at this point, and they're slowly starting to get in the van.
Okay, I'm gonna do what everyone else is doing. Spend 30 karma on this roll.
Alrighty.
All right, 55. That turns it into an 85 on an excellent. That gives me a green or a yellow result.
Okay. So, most of the girls here are they're malnourished, just to some degree. They don't appear to have been treated very kindly. The obvious deviants, of which there are 3, have a branding on their chest, and the branding reads Feldhuer, which in German, because you know German, means field whore.
Oh.
Rude.
Like I need more reason to dislike these guys.
Hyperion keeps that to himself for now, not to piss off anybody, as he's hopefully convincing them to go into the
I'm
van.
going to fly above the vans while we travel there.
Okay. What we're going to do from here is we're going to go ahead and stop because we're like well over 3 hours playing. And
we are?
We are. And we're
Flies when you're killing
Yeah.
Nazis. I mean, fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
When you don't have me going into moral quandaries of
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and stop there. So congrats, you actually I'll get you the since we're ending, I'll get you the karma for that afterwards. We're going to pick up where you guys are dropping them off at the landing zone.
We don't have to fight through the
not for your initial not getting there initially, no.
Okay.
So obviously our next game would technically be on Christmas Eve. We already indicated we weren't going to do that. So the next game for this would be January 7th.
Wow.
Yeah.
January already. Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So congrats. Part 2 of the war is going to pick up again in the new year. So congratulations making it this far. And for those of you watching, of course, we will have our, we're still going to have our next game for Blood Ties. That's going to be on the 31st. Because we're not having it on the 17th because we've got something going on then.
We have something on the 23rd.
We do. The 23rd, it was going to be Vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we all agreed we're okay to do that. So we're going to have Ashland by Night on the 23rd. We'll obviously be off for the Christmas break and whatnot. So thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us. We appreciate it. If we don't see you before then, please have a happy holiday and drive safe, eat safe, drink safe.
Drink safe.
Yeah. Take care of Nazis and put them under the ground.
Drink your Ovaltine.
Put them on ice.
Yep. And as they would say in the Christmas Story, drink your Ovaltine. So good night, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, fudge.
but I didn't say fudge.